Blog Talk Radio.
I'll give you one last one here. Your name. Every piece of ID you have now is all capital letters, which designates you as a corporation. But your birth certificate, when you first got your birth certificate, it's uppercase first letter, lowercase the rest of the first name, and then middle name uppercase just the first letter, and last name as well. That's your Christian name. But what do? They give you a birth certificate with all capital letters, and they make you think that you're a corporation. Well, if you don't recognize that all uppercase, then that person's not you. It's a variation of your name. That's not your name. Which means that any paperwork that you get served with is not even your name. That's strong stuff. That's strong
what can
stuff.
someone do? So what can someone do knowing that info to, like, I don't know?
Well, I on my website I have a form that you can purchase called Know Your Rights, and I explain that for $10. There's a form that you can get from me. That's a federal law in 1974 that protects all citizens against illegal stops and searches or harassment by law enforcement.
Is that like, because I've seen on some channels recently, like CNN or I think it was Fox News, where some sovereign people they were making they were looking at the worst kind of sovereign people and putting them on TV basically, and blaming them for really horrific things. So people could definitely go on the website to learn more about that, the truth about it, and get that form like you just said.
Well, I got an interesting one here for you. Before my brother passed away, I come to New York to be the power of attorney for my brother, because my mom was in a nursing home, and they were going to institutionalize him if someone wasn't his power of attorney, because my mother wasn't coming home from the nursing home, and he wouldn't be allowed to come home by himself. So I became his power of attorney. When my mother came out of the nursing home, she asked for me to give her back the power of attorney, which I did. But because she was in a wheelchair, the state said my mother wasn't, she could not be the power of attorney. They went to fight her in court and tell her that they were going to make my brother a ward of the state. Here my mother's 80 years old. Now she's got to fight the city of New York because they want to take my brother away from my mom. What happened was, I said to my mom, call the lawyer, tell the lawyer you have my brother's original birth certificate, and let them know that it's upper and lower case, and that the person that they send the court paperwork is with all capital letters. It's not Robert. When she called up the lawyers, they couldn't believe that my mother knew the law. My mother ended up keeping the rights to my brother. They never battled her again in court because they knew that they could not send paperwork with all upper and lower case with my brother's first and last name. It had to be all uppercase like a corporation. So my mother ended up, till my brother's death in September, having her son legally and not taken away because she fought the all capital system, because I told her to do so. She said to me, she goes to me, I hope you're right. I says, you want to keep Robert home? I says, listen to me, Mom. I said, you won't go wrong with this one. And she was able to retain, my brother's sovereignty.
That's amazing, that people really have to be aware of these things and seek the info about them so they can start to not have to be responsible for these the upper elite that just want to retain control and not allow everything to change.
Blog Talk Radio.